You are listening to Peak One Sports.
Welcome to the Bungalow Hockey Show. We're back after a short hiatus. Whatever. We're back. All right. I'm not going to... As hockey fans, you should all know that we're big in superstitions and curses and things like that. So I'm just not going to talk about the darkness subsiding from my family. And, you know, we're getting back and I have some free time again and people can breathe. And we're just not going to talk about it.
It sounds super ominous the way that you're saying it, but I mean, in all honesty, everybody is fine.
The darkness has receded.
Don't think he's like Cole and his family are fine. We're
totally fine. We're always fine. It's just there's different levels of fine, and sometimes certain level of fine doesn't allow you to do podcasts for free.
It happens.
But let's try to change that free part and talk about our sponsors. Like always, this episode is brought to you by Betalytics. Go to Betalytics.com. Promo code PEAK1. Get 25% off and get some of the best analytics and, AI, predictive outcomes and different things like that to help you bet smarter. Don't bet with your gut like me because I placed another ominous football bet this week. Because I won a little bit of money on the UFC the day before. And like I always like to say, my UFC winnings are for me to lose the next day on football. And even though I was late to the party, the Niners being on a 3-game skid and Christian McCaffrey being on every game, he gets at least one touchdown. I'm like, you know what? I'm late to the party, but let's put on that Christian McCaffrey anytime touchdown bet, right? I mean, it's kind of the most sure thing in football right now.
It's a good idea.
And the Niners won. They trounced the Jaguars.
Sure did.
But Christian McCaffrey went scoreless.
Yeah. Saw that.
So your boy loses again on football, but that's okay.
That bye week definitely helped the Niners, by the way.
It did. Yeah. But this isn't a football podcast. I only say that to tell you, go to Betalytics, and they would have probably told you, odds on, don't bet on Christian McCaffrey today. Maybe not, because it was, I mean, I don't know. Go there. Look at it.
You didn't, so you're telling me you didn't use Betalytics yesterday.
You know what? At this point, I feel like it's more of a testament to them that when our listeners win with them and then I lose by not using them, it's kind of better for the ads.
Isn't that crazy?
You know what I'm saying? It's like, don't do what I do and bet with your gut. That's what we say. That's a slogan. The Peak One Sports Network. This show created for Betalytics. Don't bet with your gut. Bet with Betalytics.
Isn't that crazy how Betalytics, the site that's built to do the thing that you need help doing, is better at it than you? Me? Man, that's so crazy. Maybe don't be like Cole and actually use Betalytics.
That is the ad. That is the impetus of the entire ad for Betalytics every week on this show is don't be like me unless it's for the UFC, which they say they're going to do soon. They're going to do MMA soon. I don't know how that's going to work. They should do a collab with the Bungalow Fight Show because we're like 66%.
That's pretty good.
I'm just saying. All right, moving on. League Swipe. Fantasy sports. I don't even know if they're still a sponsor right now. I haven't got to work because all the fantasy sports are already underway. But it doesn't matter if you're a commissioner. My fantasy football commissioner, he sent out the letter yesterday, breaking digital legs.
Breaking digital legs.
If you aren't paid up by the 17th, you're locked out, bud.
Oh no.
So you better pay up. You know what I mean? And in the days of Venmo, you think you paid.
I mean, yeah.
But then you're me, who I'm like, oh, of course I pay. I always pay at the beginning. You go back and you check the Venmo history. I didn't pay.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like, well, let's pay that real quick. So I could have had my digital legs broken in a few days, but I didn't. But that was at the behest of my commissioner who had to go and send everybody individual messages. And then, because like, it's embarrassing when you put it in the group chat because then you got the guys like, oh, I thought my wife Venmo'd you before the draft. And he's like, no, you didn't. He's like, are you sure? He's like, I already looked at the Venmo history. You know, I have to do all that.
I wouldn't be bringing it up if it wasn't there.
If you're a commissioner and you're having organizational issues, go to leagueswhite.com. Tell them Peak One Sports sent you and see if their tools can help you out. Peak One Sports Network merch store, bonfire.com/store/Peak One Sports. You know the drill. Go there, buy some stuff.
Pair of fists with skates.
Great shirt. Mine's in the mail. Shank It Golf, our newest sponsor. I don't know what else to say about these guys. They got cool stuff.
They got awesome stuff.
And if you like golf attire and you don't like looking like a nerd, go to Shank Golf and see what they have and use promo code PEAK1 and get 15% off. You don't have to be like me and go to Ross Dress for Less and get last year's Ralph Lauren polo and cut the sleeves off. You don't have to do that anymore.
If you like hockey, which you should because you're listening to a hockey podcast, the one thing you do in the off season is golf or play roller hockey.
That's right.
And this is golf. So don't be an idiot and get Shank Golf stuff.
They both have sticks that you hit stuff with. Same sport.
You know what?
Go to shakeitgolf.com, promo code PEAK1 for 15% off.
Real quick, are you okay?
I'm fine. We're pushing through. We got too many goddamn sponsors. I just wish some of them would pay us more. Our other sponsor, who I'm happy to do for free, is the company of our co-host here.
Hi, everybody. That's me, Epic Hockey.
Yeah.
Amazing custom sticks, custom gloves, custom apparel.
I don't need a graphic for this one. Because you have a permanent graphic right there.
I sure do.
Mm-hmm.
I sure do. Yeah, buddy. Everything from apparel off ice to uniforms on the ice to sticks and gloves and now ever since the incident in Europe last month or whatever, now full on cut-proof base layer shirts, padded pants for goalies, cut-proof socks that are in the NHL. Great products all the way around. And if we don't make something that you think that you need, shoot me a DM on Instagram or whatever. Chances are I could probably do it.
We're open-minded.
Oh yeah.
I only hang around open-minded people. You know what I mean? It's like
go.
I say with the Peak One store. If you see an image you like and you want it on a different piece of merch, let me know. If you got a good idea for hockey stuff, hit up Daniel.
Mm-hmm.
He'll keep an open mind. I'm not saying he's going to do it.
I mean, there's a pretty good chance I can get it to happen.
He will take your suggestions and do what he will with them. But we are
for players by players.
That's right, because we are players. Mm-hmm. So before we get into professional hockey, Daniel's team and my team had a real little game last Wednesday.
It was a good game. It was
one of the funnest. It was, let's say, not say funnest. It was one of the most intense Dirt League games in a while.
It was a good one.
A
bit of a barn burner.
It was back and forth the whole time. Your guys' PK was like a power play. It was crazy. Yeah. And I just happened to not be on the power play pretty much. So I was watching it from the bench the whole time. And I'm just like, what the fuck is happening now?
We almost played better with the man.
You guys had a shorty. And then the next, like, I thought you guys were going to take the lead. Because I think the next time you got you were on the penalty kill, it was 3-3.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, well, we're going to be down here in a second. Because you were just we couldn't do it. Like, we never have power plays. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's the problem. I don't know what it is, but it's like
we went to the box a lot though. We had a parade going to the box at one point. That was unfortunate.
You might as well just kept it because you guys were on fire on the PK. Your boy scored a goal that I'm pretty sure Daniel didn't think went in, but I'm not a liar.
Which
I said this on the Bungalow Sports Show.
I did not think that went in.
And I am I'm more honest in how bad I am at hockey than anything else in my life, almost.
To be fair,
and I'm honest. Dave saved it. It hit his leg.
Okay.
It dropped straight down. It was one of those on the liners, right? And it was there. Yeah. And I was skating around the back, just waiting for the ref to blow the whistle.
Uh-huh.
He didn't blow it. So Lakota, seeing that it was standing there, started to rush to the net. And as he was rushed, Dave dropped down to cover it and kicked it in.
Okay.
And that's when I screamed. So I wasn't screaming just to fool the ref into thinking that it was a goal. I waited because I thought it wasn't, because it dropped. It wasn't in until he kicked it in himself.
So to be fair, I did not see it from where I was because I was on the bench.
You were on the bench, and I knew exactly what was going on. I was like, Daniel didn't think that went in. No. I was like, but because
I mean, how am I gonna know from where I was, right? So I was like,
it's not a criticism of you. I would have done the same thing. I would have been screaming my head off. But I just so you know how it went down.
And there were implications to this game too.
It was win or go home.
It was win or don't play next week.
That's right. And the Geese came out with the victory. It was hard fought. And
I tip my hat to you and the Geese. Mm-hmm. It was a great game, mm-hmm. and you know what? clean game all the way around.
It was. Nobody got mad. Nobody freaked out. It was. Those are the best kind of games where you can play hard. Everybody played hard. Everybody played as fast and as good as they could. Everybody emptied the gas tanks.
So did you see the shot totals at the end of that game?
Dude, I saw Kana made 28 saves.
Kana made 28 saves. And guess what? 15 of those came in the third period.
It's insane.
You know how many shots you had in the third period?
4. Yeah.
4.
No, you
scored on 2 of them.
Yeah, I didn't know any. I obviously realized you guys had way more shots, just whole game wise. But after the game, because Lakota's dad Derek was up in the stands, and he was in the Geese chat with all the people that couldn't make it. He was giving them updates on it. And when I got into the locker room and I looked and saw, he's like, Connor made 28 saves, or 31 shots, 28 saves or whatever. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, she did good.
28 saves in the dirt league.
Yeah, man.
And she's like only like 4 inches above being a midget.
Pretty much.
Little person. I'm sorry. We don't want to offend.
Dude, she was good.
She was. And she kept us in it. That's for damn sure.
I think what helped her out too, and I know we don't want to spend a whole lot of time on dirt league, but
my favorite league.
I mean, it is so much fun. So one thing that really helped her out, and one thing that I noticed from just being on the other side of it, is you guys collapse so well in front of her. Basically, like, we like to take the puck up to the point. We like to work it around, and we like to get those shots from the outside, get some rebounds, and get dirty goals that way. And I couldn't put the puck high. Right. And knowing Kana's this tall, so it's one of those things where we have to shoot. We want to shoot high. Like, on her.
The Geese, I mean, between roller hockey and ice hockey, we've been a team since 2019, right? And we have some new guys from last season, some even newer guys this season. When you play with a goalie who is arguably, without her skates on, shorter than the top of the net.
She is, actually. Yeah.
You got to play different. See, you guys have maybe Dave is a big guy.
Giant.
I'm not. He's big. He's wide. He's a big ass dude.
He's 6'2" without skates.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So he's a big ass guy. That garners you a little bit more wiggle room when he drops to his knees, because he still can cover the top of the net from his knees. Once Kana drops down, you're fucked, right? Because then it's all on everybody else to stop anything that's above your own waist.
Right.
You better stop that shit, because it'll go right in, right? So that's all that is like just repetition and the people who play defense, and then me as a center, which I've never played center my entire hockey career until this season.
You've been doing
having
good there.
To remember that you have defensive responsibilities as a center.
Well, it's easier when you come from defense, right? Like you came from defense, so being able to go back and forth.
But there's a caveat there, because ever since I've been playing ice, I've played all winger, because I started on Friday nights, which is a level above, and being the shittier player, you got to be a winger to not screw the team over.
Dude, that league is still freaking nuts.
It's so fast. It's so much faster. But so, like, as a winger, you don't gotta do nothing but just skate as fast as you can towards the net and shoot it. You know what I mean? So now that I have defensive responsibilities, I screwed us a couple times. Like when Juan saved me when he hit the post for your team, because I gave him that freaking breakaway.
Hell of a shot too by Juan too. I can't believe it didn't go in. An inch and a half the other way.
I made a panic defensive play because I was skating back because I wasn't where I should have been, and just whacked it out towards center ice rather than picking somebody to pass it to, and gave it right to him, and then he gets a breakaway. Thank God for the post. But like that whole thing, like you said, collapsing on the net, that's also something we've only done like the last 3 weeks.
And it's been working for you, because I think you guys are three wins in the last 3 games then, yeah?
Yeah.
You guys have been doing great with that system. Anyways,
Geese Heatwave Wednesday for the Dirt League Championship. The Geese are going for a repeat.
Not gonna say that we were trying to lose that game, because we weren't. We were trying to win, but I mean, I've said since the beginning of the season, I'm not going to be here for championship game, and neither is most of the team. So,
well, hey, you know what? Thanks, Tigers.
You're welcome.
All right, moving on to real hockey. I have just like this week's Bungalow Sports Show, no show prep. We got no iPad. I haven't been in this room in like a week, so everything died. I shut the computers down. The lights aren't. Something got unplugged and the lights died. Whatever.
Oh man, yeah, my light's not on. I didn't. It
don't matter. We're good. We're fine. It's almost looked better without the lights. Maybe we shouldn't use them anymore. Who knows?
I'm just naturally beautiful. I don't need anything else. Really.
The NHL is such a fun league to watch. I mean, always has been, but this season has been ripe with what I like in the NFL this year is parity.
There's some good hockey out there,
such as your Ducks, who were
supposed to be bottom feeders, and they're not right now.
I mean, obviously, it's super early in the season,
extra early.
But they
had a hot start last season too,
exceeding expectations. But the hot start that they're having, it seems more like sustainable.
You think?
I think so.
Well, I hope so.
Because it's team hotness. It's not just like, Vetrano's got
Vetrano's got like 2 hat tricks.
He's got individual hotness, but like
he's got individual hotness. You hear that, Frank? You got individual hotness.
Watching you guys play as a team, it's a team success that's happening. It's not necessarily like one guy that's like really, blowing the doors off the place. Yeah, Vetrano's hot, but also you got Leo Carlsson getting the youngest hat trick in Ducks history.
That's pretty cool.
The 7th youngest in all of NHL history.
It's pretty significant, I think. It's not nothing. That's for sure.
Yeah, and it's just like them. I mean, obviously Chicago's not doing well as a team, but Bedard is starting to really round into fashion. He had that sweet no-look backhand. Did you see that thing? That was cool because he meant to do it. Like you have those. He meant to do it. Well, in hockey, there's weird bounces and weird shit that happens all the time. Like no matter how good of a hockey player you are, when you let that puck off your stick, sometimes it just doesn't go where you mean it to go.
Absolutely.
And sometimes that's in the net. Sometimes you're Dan Boyle and it's in your own net. But you know what I'm saying? It's like
Dan.
It's just
he's not here to defend himself.
So like when you have those moments where like you see a slow-mo shot of Connor Bedard looking like he's just straight up gonna pass it and he just just backhands it right into the goal. It's fantastic to watch. I hate to cheer for a Blackhawk, but I mean, what are you going to do? Sometimes I cheer for hockey greatness.
I want to say,
and he's really rounding into form.
I want to say that I don't fully give Connor Bedard to the Blackhawks yet because he's so new and everything. It's not like he's on this 3-year entry level deal because he has to. Because he got drafted by the Blackhawks.
Yeah, if they can't round it out in the next 3 years, he might be headed somewhere else.
It's like you think about it, and it's just like now there's questions with the Oilers, right? Like will Draisaitl stay long term? Will McDavid stay long term? And it's they just let go of their coach, which, by the way, I think we have to thank San Jose for that.
Well, I also mentioned this on the Bungalow Sports Show during the Shark Sucks segment, but they got their stink all over this league now. Obviously, you have the Sharks won 2 games in a row. The first team was the Flyers, right? And the Flyers, so last season or the season before last, the Ottawa Senators or the Buffalo Sabres, one or the other, had a 15-game losing streak out the gate.
I think it was probably Ottawa.
And their first win was against the Philadelphia Flyers, right? So
no, that was Sabres. That was Sabres. You're right.
So you got that funny little quip of a storyline, and then the next game you move right in, and the Edmonton Oilers come to town, who were odds-on favorites to win the Cup before the season started. Right. You and I spoke on that, and every analyst in hockey spoke on that before the season started. And then now they're fighting for 32nd place with the Sharks.
Isn't that nuts?
And they come to San Jose, and they get beat with their head coach, former Sharks assistant coach, Jay Woodcroft.
Yeah, Jay Woodcroft. Yeah, that's right. Yep.
And he gets fired a day and a half after losing to the Sharks.
Now, to be fair, the Oilers did play the Kraken after they played the Sharks and beat the Kraken.
Sure.
Which everybody kind of thought that's going to give Woodcroft a little bit more time. It's going to give him a little bit more of a runway. Nah, man, I think they were just waiting.
It was the decision had been made.
They were honestly, after the Sharks game, they had made the decision internally in Edmonton to let go of Woodcroft. Then they were just waiting for a time where they could find the new head coach and with whatever time they needed for that.
Well, and Edmonton's got a good minor league system, so I think they probably were just like, are we just going to bump this guy up or what?
Well, did you see what happened, right?
What's that?
They signed to be the new head coach right after they fired Jay Woodcroft.
Really?
They signed him. He was a assistant coach, or I think he's head coach of the New York Rangers farm system, but he was Connor McDavid's head coach in junior.
Oh, okay. So there's a little bit of a storyline.
Yeah.
there.
So it's just basically we gotta get this team gelling, and who better to make the team gel than the guy that's going to take our franchise cornerstone to where he should be because he got him in juniors.
Right.
Now, to be fair, Connor McDavid was going to be an NHLer and probably an amazing NHLer, no matter who.
When he was 7, I watched a little mini doc on him, and when he was 7 years old, his mother said that when I'm 15, I'm moving out because I have to continue my hockey career. When he was 7, so I was like, yeah, he knew what he was doing. Yeah.
But I mean, like this guy, like he was gonna be, no matter if he played in the OHL or he could have played in the USHL, and he was still gonna be an amazing hockey player, probably franchise player for somebody.
Yeah.
But being that he's got now his juniors coach in Edmonton with the team that he's got there, this is gonna hopefully bring him up to where he should be and bring the team up to where they should be. The only thing that I will say about the Oilers right now is the fact that McDavid looks hurt.
He's not, obviously. I mean, all you got to do is watch a McDavid highlight reel and then watch even the moments he's had this season, and it doesn't look the same.
No. And I think
his movement, like his cutting, like when he gets... I mean, there's an endless... You can watch an entire reel of him going 1-on-4.
Yeah.
From center ice,
and he makes every 4 players against him look just stupid.
Beep, beep, beep. It looks like a pinball going through players.
He honestly looks like a grown man versus toddlers,
right?
And it's ridiculous,
and it's not happening this season. No. So something's wrong.
And I think he rushed himself back for that outdoor game. He rushed himself back for that Heritage Classic against the Flames, which they did end up winning,
right?
Which is great. But I mean, I think that was a whole thing. It's just like I think they rushed back one of the best players, if not the best player in the game right now.
I think they had that game too early in the season.
I would agree with that.
And especially being a rivalry
still in
game.
October?
It was still in October.
Like before American Thanksgiving? Like, what are we doing?
Also, obviously, we're early, but it was against Calgary, who was disappointing everyone, too. So it's like, it was a non-game.
It was
almost.
A non-game.
It might as well have been a preseason game.
And the Flames and the Oilers, they play each other so many times during the year because they're in the same division. Why
could have been any number of games.
Yeah, why do you have to have it that game?
Yeah.
Like, don't they play each other in January? Just do it in January. What
right.
the hell?
So that was kind of weird. That was a thought I had during that time because he was hurt.
Yeah.
And then the next TikTok I saw was him wearing the oil worker onesie where they're all walking in pregame. And I'm like, oh, he's there.
Yeah, it's like he shouldn't be playing right now.
I'm like, I just read his whole thing about how he was going to be out for 3 weeks.
But it's like, it's Connor McDavid, right? It's like he's gonna like he is a world class athlete and he probably heals faster, but he rushed back.
And I think it's like going to compound a little bit for them because now they've started so disappointing that it's like, shit, we got to get Connor back so we can erase this shitty start real quick and kind of get back into contention a little bit. And it's like, but will you even be able to catch up? Because now you're just playing catch up.
Well, you're expecting McDavid to be his 100% McDavid,
and if he's not,
if he's 50% McDavid,
I don't
but
think
you're expecting 100%. That's you're not
like you said,
it,
like we've talked
I mean?
about ad nauseum. Like they waived Campbell.
Yep. And $5.5 million goalie waived back down to the AHL. And by the way, he played for the Bakersfield Condors in his first game. Seems like the issues are still there. He let in 4.
Right. In the AHL. Ouch. But they still got Skinner, who is not a good goalie either. Well, I hate saying that about professional athletes, right? I don't like to.
And he's not bad. I just think his start has been awful.
And with
Same
goalies,
with Campbell,
it's so everything is snowballs. It snowballs. It snowballs.
And it's a lot of confidence too, man. A lot of confidence.
That's what I'm saying. And like even with. Not to always bring it back to the Sharks, but the fucking Sharks and like Kaapo Kähkönen was not horrible last season. He's not a horrible goalie, but with the start they've had and the amount of goals he has allowed and the Sharks defense, I should say, has allowed to be scored on him, he's Swiss cheese.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it sucks for that guy. And I hate to say like, oh, this guy sucks, but it's like it's a snowball effect.
But like when we say stuff like, this player sucks, or in the NHL, this player sucks. It's in comparison to
not to the dirt league.
No, it's in comparison to the rest of the players
Their
in the
peers.
NHL at the time.
Right.
Like you could put like I was telling somebody recently, I think it was on the Tigers when we were on the bench, is like you could take anybody from the NHL and you can say like, you know, this guy is absolutely the worst player on the worst team in the league. Like if you take the worst player from the Sharks and you bring him over to Stockton and have him play against us in the Dirt League, they are gonna run our fucking show.
You win the
like worse than
team.
anybody we've ever seen. You know, like even if you put him in the Gold League against some of the guys that played semi-pro and
that's
whatnot,
why Evander Kane likes playing beer league in Edmonton in the offseason.
It's like we're gonna get skated around. We're all gonna look stupid to the NHLer because he's an NHLer.
Yeah.
But comparatively to the rest of the league, which is the baseline,
100%. Yeah, it's all peer based.
They're not playing well enough.
The thoughts of the Bungalow Hockey Show are 100% peer based, and we are not their peers.
No,
we are just here to talk about it.
Exactly.
So in this particular case,
in case anybody ever says anything about like,
sucks.
Well, why don't you guys go play against the Edmonton Oilers? Bring your Dirt League team play against the Oilers. It's like, no, you don't want to see that.
Nobody can say that stuff to us, Daniel, because we are very self-aware here in the Bungalow. I always talk about it. Our league has a name that we play in. It's the Hurstspur Hockey League. Yeah. I refer to it as the Dirt League.
It is the Dirt League.
But that's what I say, because we all suck. But we all suck together.
Exactly.
So our performance is based against our peers the same way that the NHLers' performance is based against theirs.
Exactly.
So we can say whatever we want. What else did I had something else, but like I said, I had no prep.
I mean, we could just talk about a lot of stuff. Hey, you want to talk about some interesting facts that I saw today?
Okay.
There was a post on Instagram that I thought was very intriguing. There are some crazy stats out there about some guys that have not scored yet this season.
I like these.
You go ahead.
Some more guys that suck.
You go ahead and vamp for 2 seconds. Let me find the post.
All right,
here.
we'll save. I think the finale of this show is going to be talking about how the Ducks played the Sharks, so I won't get into that.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say is the goaltending in the league that I've noticed, because I look at a lot of infographics that are just like the save percentages and like different things like that. There's some goalies stepping up.
Oh yeah,
this season that weren't supposed to be as good as they are.
You can talk about in Anaheim. You got Lukas Dostal.
Got Dostal. It's just for the goalies that had the high expectations. You haven't had a lot of them shit the bed, but it's just like again, I love parity.
Except for probably Edmonton. You got some shitting happening in Edmonton.
Of course, but did we really think they were gonna, not in this studio? We didn't think they were going to be
great. I didn't think they were going to be this bad.
But again, the parity, dude. It's happening around sports, and we love it. That means the skill is getting spread out.
That's true.
Again, amongst all the teams, where it's like us growing up, you could almost set your watch by the fact that the Red Wings were going to be good no matter what. This team was going to be good no matter. You could set your clock by it. But now you have the quote unquote odds-on favorite Edmonton Oilers in 31st place right now.
Yep.
And again, it's early, but we're almost 2 months into the season.
Yeah.
It's late enough that you're starting to see the rosters kind of round into shape and see who's going to be up and downers and who are going to be full season guys. And like, it is early, but it's not that early anymore.
Well, you can see even by the panic mode that the Oilers are going into, they fired Woodcroft, right?
Right.
Fired him, and now they have to have a new head coach, because it's just like I think the big barometer for where you are going to be that season, like date wise, has to be American Thanksgiving, because as soon as American Thanksgiving hits, you get that little bit of time off and whatnot, and you're looking at it and you go, okay, we're about 20 some odd games into the season at this point. If we are like the Oilers, 31st place, and we are nowhere near the playoffs, it's like not every team is the 2019.
They're already, and that's
St.
the thing.
Louis Blues,
it's like,
right?
When I say like they're playing catch up already this early in the season with McDavid at whatever percentage healthy he is.
They've dug themselves a hole.
If they haven't completely caught up by Thanksgiving, they're fucked.
Yeah.
Because in the NHL, and especially with the amount of parity that we're seeing teams like the Ducks who could go easily, if you're just looking at right now metrics, go from last to a playoff spot in one off season. When shit like that is happening, I mean, you've got Ottawa, even with their problems, not looking terrible.
They're not looking terrible.
You know what I mean? You got Buffalo. I mean, all these teams obviously have had times where they've looked decent during the season and they fall apart towards the end and in the playoffs.
But you look at the schedule, and any given night, any team can beat any other team.
Right. I mean, you got Washington has completely fallen off a cliff.
Vancouver may just be the best team in the NHL,
which is insane.
That's nuts.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's like it seems a little different than seasons past right now. And I don't know if it's because the younger talent that's rounding into not just your Bedards and your Leo Carlsons and your Fantillis, but like the younger talent. I mean, everything's exponential, right? Athletes get bigger and better as the decades roll on because you have better athletes giving birth to better athletes. You know what I mean? And better training and better diet and better supplements and better everything.
Better understanding of what it takes to be a professional athlete.
100%.
I mean, nowadays you get guys like, they don't ever touch alcohol. They don't ever.
Connor Bedard's never had fast food in his life.
Never had fast food in his life. He's 18 years old. You know what I mean?
It's insane.
Like that's nuts.
You know what I mean? I was a fairly successful high school wrestler. You want to know what my diet was?
Yeah, pizza and beer half the time.
Well, because I was cutting weight so much, it was Cheez-Its and Shock Tarts.
Yeah, there you go.
Cheez-Its and Shock Tarts. Let me get that sodium so I don't cramp up. Like that was my only thing. It was like I am not drinking any water, so I'm just gonna eat all sodium so I don't get any cramps. That's what we're dealing with. It's like now, like you said, you have, not that I was ever going to be a pro at anything, but it's like from the high school child level, you have people teaching these kids the correct ways to treat their bodies, the correct things to put in their bodies and things like that. So I think that's a big part of it is like you see a lot of teams that, they don't have any names, they're not going to be good. But it's like, yeah, but this guy right here, he may only be 20 years old, but he is exponentially better than the 20-year-old from 5 years ago, and even more 20 years ago, and blah blah blah. You know what I mean? So you've got young guys that are so much better, faster. You know, like when you watch, like I think Ryan Whitney said it the other day on Spittin' Chicklets, is like college, like U.S. college NCAA hockey might have already surpassed the OHL and juniors in talent.
Quite possible, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you look at the amount of draft picks that get picked and then go back, and they're not playing in juniors, they're not playing in Canada, they're playing in the NCAA. That shows you something. You know what I mean? And then I don't know. It's exciting. It's exciting because there's so much good talent that is so young right now.
And I mean,
used to rely on veterans, but now it's like,
like we talk about like, the nutrition and the way that they prepare their bodies, right? I remember an interview with my favorite GM of all time was Brian Burke.
Oh yeah.
And
there was a time where he was like in like one of the names being thrown around to come to San Jose.
Yeah. And I love Brian Burke. He was a GM for the Ducks when they won the Cup.
Right.
And
he went to Toronto.
And Toronto. And he also used to play. He was a rather good player, never really did much in the NHL. I don't know if he ever actually got to the NHL, but he played for Providence in NCAA. And he's great player. He said when he finally got to his first pro locker room, he saw these guys, some of the big good talent on the team, and their pregame ritual was a pack of smokes and a bottle of rye.
Right.
And it's like that's just not what it is.
And although those are awesome stories to hear and fantastic stories to hear, and I love hearing like the Russian gas stories from the KHL and things like that. All that stuff is short lived. Now, when you have a guy who's 19 who's never had fast food and never had alcohol, and he's drank creatine every morning since he was 7 years old, and had the right supplements and the right vitamins and the right training and all this stuff. It's like, yeah, that's funny and that's cool and that's quirky, but it ain't gonna last. And you're seeing a guy like, he's never blown the doors off as a skill player, but Ryan Reeves might as well be invisible on the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Invisible is a great... Actually, he's less than invisible because he's also a -9 now.
He's stats-wise invisible, but he's invisible physically too, which is the only reason that you have him on your team.
Dude, he for the first 3 games or whatever, he was a force.
Well, when Liljegren, I know that was a big story, but when Liljegren got his clock cleaned by Marchand, and hockey is evolving, right? It's not just let's go out there and fight everybody. I hate that sentiment.
It's not
always been my hated thing when when I bring up hockey to people and be like, oh, they let you fight. I'm like, yeah, but it's not that.
Yeah, there's reason behind why you do the things that you do. It's
and
not
that specific play where Marchand did that stupid fucking can opener thing that he's done a million fucking times.
And never gets fucking called for.
And you know what it is. You know the sentiment behind it. It wasn't an accident. Maybe the ref can sit there all day and say, well, it didn't look like crazy contact. It wasn't crazy contact because he knows what he's doing.
Not only that, you know who the ref was?
It was McCauley.
It was Wes McCauley. And you know what happened?
He hates Toronto.
He told the bench because Sheldon Keefe was yelling at him. And like, the fuck was that about? Right? Like, you're not going to call that?
They never call him on that, dude.
Wes McCauley goes to the bench and says, I didn't see it.
Right.
Look at the replays. Where is he looking? Directly
and at this point in Brad Marchand's career, and for all the Marchand haters, I'm not a Marchand hater. That is Boston hockey.
He's on my fantasy team. I love the guy for fantasy points.
The guy's a great hockey player. He's a great locker room guy. He's a great guy if he's on your team. I can understand why you hate him if he's not on your team. But
absolutely deserving of the captaincy in Boston.
100%. And because he's going to do that, and it's like, I pulled this move against you guys on Wednesday on icing in the Dirt League. They let you change lines.
Yep.
So when everybody's tired at the end of the game in that last 5 minutes when you guys got like 14 shots in like 30 seconds, I told everybody, I said, ice the fucking puck.
Yeah, just ice it.
Because they're going to let us change lines and the clock keeps running.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
I'm tired, you're tired, we're all tired, they're not as tired, they keep shooting the fucking puck, just ice it, just ice it, just ice it. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
it worked, it did well.
You play within the rules. And Marchand, even though he's doing something illegal, he doesn't get called for it, so why wouldn't he keep doing it? And then when you have fucking Ryan Reeves on your team who's supposed to go out there and do something about it, and then he doesn't do anything about it.
Did you hear what he said about that afterward?
Yeah, I watched all of their fucking little post-game press conferences about it.
So there was two things about that game. The two people that I'm pissed off at.
And fucking Reeves.
They were, so Marchand came over to the bench and he was John, and he was yapping. And two of the tough guys on that team are Bertuzzi, and you're supposed to have Ryan Reeves as your buffer, guy, right? Marchand comes over and just John back and forth. Dude. And Bertuzzi's just sitting there like laughing, like, oh,
yeah, his old buddies. It's like, you don't play with him anymore. Like, it's over.
The actual, like, dude, you wear blue now.
Well, so before the game, they were interviewing Bertuzzi about Marchand. And I just found it funny where it's just like, what things did you learn about Brad Marchand, when you got to play with him or whatever? And blah, that he's full of shit and that he's such a great guy and da-da-da. So it's like, that's fine. But when you're on another team in a professional sports league and you're not on his team anymore, you can be friends.
Yeah.
You can be friends. But when
this is your job, bro.
It's like, you and we had a couple little puck battles against the wall in our game. And it's like, we do a podcast together. Daniel and I are going to be friends whether we do this podcast or we play. We're friends forever now.
Yeah.
But when we're playing against each other, I'm going to try to fucking lift his stick off the fucking puck and steal it from him. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, go ahead and just take that one, buddy.
No, I'm gonna get on your shoulder. I'm gonna push you into the glass. I'm gonna try to take the puck.
100%.
We're on the ice. It's not personal.
We're just playing a game, and we're trying to win. Like, that's it. And when you have that happen to one of your best defensemen, you know what I mean? And then like, two guys arguably that should be...
And a young kid, man. Like, protect the young kid.
And it's not like he just got a little hurt. No, he got big hurt.
Yeah. High ankle sprain.
Bertuzzi
is bad for hockey players.
Straddles the line of tough guy versus skill player, right? Reeves is only there to be a tough guy. Parafis with skates. That's what he was supposed to be. That's what Radko Gudas is for the Ducks. And he shoots 3-pointers.
Yeah, he shoots 3-pointers and he scores.
Anyways, it's just the disappointment in Edmonton is for one reason, and that is just not winning fucking games. The disappointment in Toronto is like almost like more disturbing.
They're soft as baby shit.
And it's like, it's not, they don't give a fuck about each other. Like Tavares needs to be stripped of his captaincy.
Tavares needs to, I mean, like, I don't know if, and he's a good leader,
of course,
but I think
something's going on.
But I think his whole thing is like, maybe he's too quiet.
Well,
and that's actually the reason that Marlowe lost his captaincy in San Jose.
Right, and I agree with it 100%.
He was too quiet.
He's too nice. Yeah. Too nice. You got to be a dick when you need to be a dick. You got to be excited when you need to be. It's kind of like, I mean, the Sharks had freaking Ron Wilson forever as the coach. It's just the blank sheet of paper standing behind your bench.
Very much.
You can't have that in hockey. And that just seems like what's going on in Toronto. And not to bite Spit and Chicklets again, but they're a great podcast. But it's like their sentiment was kind of like, it's almost like no captains.
Yeah.
we don't have a captain right now. You know what I mean? Like, we don't deserve a captain right now until somebody steps up and earns that spot. But Canadian hockey is not doing well right now.
It's a little scary. I want to say one more thing about Ryan Reeves.
Yeah.
He did a post-game interview afterward, and they were talking about how, like, okay, so that happened to Liljegren. He got hurt. Obviously, he was hurt. He went off the locker and into the locker room. You guys had to play down. Why were you not there responding? Why did you not go after somebody? And he was just like, oh, well, I wasn't back. I wasn't on the I wasn't on the ice with him when Marchand was out there. They had last change.
There's other Bruins.
It was like
there's other Bruins.
Pick somebody.
Who gives a fuck?
Somebody. Make somebody answer the bell.
Like, you're only there to make noise, especially in that situation. And he ended it with, it's hockey.
Yeah. And he did that interview at the beginning of the season too, where they asked him about Gudas in the playoffs, because Gudas stood over Woll, their rookie goaltender, and just screamed in his face, right? And that was a big point of contention for the Leafs. It's like, we got to get tougher, we got to get more snot. That's what Brad Treliving. That's their GM, right? Yeah. It's like we got to get more snot this season. So we got Ryan Reeves, we got Domi, and we got Bertuzzi. And they asked him, like, what would you have done had Gudas done that while you were on the team? He's like, oh, better not have done that when I was on the team. I'd be. And it's just like what were you gonna do?
What are you gonna
especially
do,
now? Now you've seen Marchand do it to your guys, and it's just like, oh well, I wasn't out there with Marchand. It's like, find somebody.
I'm not a fan.
Anybody.
Exactly, anybody. Right? And I'm not a fan of snap rash decisions in professional sports, right? Because everybody has off games, everybody has slumps and things like that. But when a guy like Ryan Reeves doesn't do something about that play after that play, why is he there?
He really was not serving a purpose on the bench.
Like you said, he's -9.
Yeah.
Fucking 12 games into the season or whatever, and he doesn't do anything after that play. Why is he there? Like, what? Why? There's literally the coach, the GM. Nobody could give you an acceptable response to that. Because, like I said, Domi and Bertuzzi at least are good hockey players. Mm-hmm. They also are supposed to have an edge to them.
Right.
But at least they're there statistically adding to the team.
And I mean, Domi is supposed to be more like that playmaker setup guy, which is fine. But that's fine.
Hockey's hockey. He's not his dad. When you're giant,
right?
you got an edge. You're supposed to be a little. There's an intimidation factor to your game, I should say. But Reeves is specifically only there.
That is his job.
The only way you can be -9 and still have a job is if you're out there protecting your guys.
Yeah, and I don't think, and he's not doing.
I don't understand why. Okay, you're a fucking minor leaguer now, bud. See you later.
It is like, I don't understand why they can't just put him back down.
I don't know why they wouldn't. And
the Leafs are in cap hell right now because 4 of their players make over $10 million.
Because it's just like, you signed him for that one reason. If he went out there and he scored a random goal and he was -2, okay, but
nobody cares at that point.
He's a detriment to the game statistically when he's on the ice, so he should only be there to protect the guys,
and
or at least send a message.
If he's doing it, but he refuses to do it.
He's not. It's a position in hockey that is fading away, and he seems like he's the last of a dying breed. And
well, I don't know. The Ducks have Ross Johnson.
Well, that's true. That's true. But where it stands out. You know what I mean? Like, every team it stands out so glaringly with him because he's so bad at the game. You know what I'm saying?
No, he's bad right now. He's absolutely bad.
Like,
to be fair, if you took him out of the NHL and put him in the dirt league, he would be head and shoulders above the rest, and he'd be so fucking good that we'd all be like, "Oh my god, you're a god." But
him and Evander Kane should go play in the same beer league.
That's what I'm saying. In the NHL, it's not a thing.
No, and that's the thing. There's a difference between having guys that out there are going to drop the gloves at any moment, and they're not the best, but they're there for that reason. But he's not fulfilling his duties.
No, he's not.
You had some stats you wanted to say before we got into our Toronto.
Let's talk about this. So here's a post from NHL.feeds. There are 9 players who have yet to score a goal this season.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1 from Pittsburgh, Rickard Rakell in 13 games. As a Ducks fan, I don't find that shocking.
No.
Pens fans, get ready for hell. This is how he is.
And the Pens fans say it he became exponentially cooler when he went to Pittsburgh because they started calling him Ricky Raquel.
Yeah,
Ricky Raquel.
Ricky. In Montreal, you're having a season and a half, aren't you? There, sorry. Josh Anderson, 15 games. That is a hell of a cap hit for a guy that does not produce.
Slump. Yeah, that's a lot of money.
Just talking about him in Toronto, Max Domi, 15 games, yet to light the lamp. He has done a little bit more facilitating than scoring.
Yeah, when however, Matthews hogging all the goals.
However, you would like to see him put some points up after the year he had in Dallas last year.
Of course, yeah.
New Jersey, this one was surprising to me. Andre Palat, 13 games, no goals. That's interesting to me.
That is interesting.
I mean, they got him from Tampa Bay to be that guy, like that third line, you needed, like extra scoring help type.
You needed an extra guy next to your big boys, but
yeah, and he's just not there this season. It's weird.
Yeah,
I mean, 13 games. Yeah, it's not a lot of the season, but it is a fairly concerning amount, I would have to say.
Yeah, no, for sure.
This one surprised, I think, absolutely nobody. I don't know, Islanders fans, you might feel different. Islanders player J.G. Pageau, 13 games, no goals. I didn't find that shocking.
I think if anybody on the Islanders goes that with a slump, you don't find it that shocking because
at the moment,
rarely do the Islanders put together a full season
of
solid
it's
hockey. Very strange.
They were very streaky as an organization.
Right.
It's very strange. 3 more here. Not surprising to me, but I think Chicago was hoping that he would be a little bit better. Andreas Athanasiou, 11 games, no points, no goals, I should say. He's probably got points, but this is interesting. Rangers are having a great season. But apparently, Philip Hedl, 10 games, no goals.
Right. I mean, you got Panarin who's really stepping it up, I guess.
And I mean, you've got...
You know what? And you're naming off these teams, too. And if you think about it, other than, like, the Canadians or the Islanders, like, all those teams...
The Blackhawks.
Right. But they have a guy that's got, like, 1 million points right now.
Right.
Whether it's Jack Hughes or it's Austin Matthews or whatever. Yeah. It's like they are there. You've got teams that have point vacuums. They're sucking up all the points.
And I think they are. That might just be the thing. Even in Seattle here, Alex Wenberg, 15 games, no goals.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wenberg, I didn't really think was gonna light the world on fire. However,
but 15 games, no goals for a guy who's supposed to be a goal scorer. That's the thing here, people. We're not saying these guys are the best guys on the team. We're saying that
it's like they're supposed to be
the
goal
same.
scorers.
Ryan Reed is supposed to go punch somebody in the face. In 15 games, these are guys who should at least have a couple.
At least 1 or 2.
Right.
You would expect it.
Whether they're first, second, third, fourth liners, these are guys that are brought in or guys who have contracts because on their respective lines are the guys who are supposed to drain some.
Now, this is, I think, the most shocking of them all. And yeah, Washington's having... The Washington Capitals are having a trying season, but I think we all understand that it is focused not on winning games, but on getting Ovi his record.
Right, we said that last show.
And this one is shocking to me. In 13 games, TJ Oshie has no goals.
He had that sweet move where he did the puck juggle through the
that was really cool. But then notice what happened. But notice what happened after.
They cut it. It's cool for a TikTok because it lasts like 15 seconds.
Yeah, he gets done, but then he turns it over.
Yeah, you see him flip it, and you're like, oh dang, that guy's super good. And I'm like, no. Watch the rest of the play because he flipped it right to the other team.